Shiny.
Whoa, hello.
Look at this. Wait for people to come in. Usually takes a minute or two. Just chilling with my cat tonight. Leah's at work. I don't know if this accurately shows me when people come in or not. It says zero people watching. Start it when I see like 3 people in the room or so. Say 2 minutes, 0 people. It's not sent out any alerts yet, I guess. There's somebody. How you doing tonight? Just waiting for people to come in to start the show. All right, let's get going. Shiny.
Whoa, hello.
Look at this. Right there to connect the point. Looks like it'll flake. Give it a try. Look at that. Some kind of black flint. I'm not sure what that is. I'll keep that though. 1 for the effort at least. Interesting black flint. I have no idea what that is. I'm gonna have to look into this area and see if I can get a name. Some fish in there? Limestone. This is a good sign. There's stuff around. This is a piece of limestone. And usually when you find limestone chunks like that, there is flint nearby. So, somewhere around here, maybe out there, washing down. Here's a piece, thin piece. So, limestone, flint, chert. I'll show you on the edge here. See how shiny that is there? This would be good for like a flint and steel. If you have the steel, you could hit this against it, it'll create a spark. I got some flint, fire steel, char cloth. I was just testing this piece because I saw this little tiny shiny.
Whoa, hello.
Look at this. It's got limestone in it, but it's a lot of flint. And it's white on the outside. What the hell is this? Okay. Looks similar to this. This is more crystally. This is fine-grained. So there's like a bunch of different stuff here, apparently. Cool. So I lied about this being the only piece here. There's actually a bunch. I just wasn't looking at it because it's white. I was looking for this, not that. So I napped this from some of that rock. Gnarly looking stuff. Cool. Huge chunks.
Is there?
Yeah.
That means it's probably in the creek.
Big fish. Good. Oh, you got that on camera right now. We're still heading to the campground, but I decided to stop here. And I found what looks to be a giant piece of flint here. I'll give it a test and see how it looks. Let's try this edge. It's not high quality, but it'll nap. I'm gonna bring it with me to experiment with. Looks more limestone than chert to me. Okay. That there is good flint. For creek flint. That is the best creek flint I have found. So, first thing I'm gonna do to work on the spear is make a stone chopper. And it's going to be really rough, and I'm just going to do it really quick. It's just I need a sharpened edge, serrated edge that I could chop things with. And this is almost all limestone, so I'm going to use a limestone chopper. So I'm going to hit this low platform here. It's lower than the rest of the rock. That's where you want to hit. And you want to brace it with your fingers so that when you hit, it travels, the shockwave travels down your fingers and makes the flake run along the edge here. So on all of these, I'm using a ball end of an antler. And I'm looking for a ledge like that where I could just knock off pieces. And you could use these to scrape down the wood. They're going to be super sharp. So don't waste any of those. And like I'm almost done with this already. Just need a sharpened edge, really. This edge sharp. There we go. Now, that I could use. So, we're just going to use this kind of in a motion like that. We're just going to chop with it. And I'm going to do that until the wood gets cut through. And it'll take a little bit, but it'll work. This here would be a primitive hand axe. Most of them have the tip sharpened. I like to use the side on mine. It's easier too. So I'm going to use the really primitive hand axe here to cut up this wood. So this was a little too big for my hand to be doing the work here at this angle. So I snapped it in half, and I'm just going to use this end. This end is sharper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in at this angle like that, over and over, and then I'm going to come in at this angle to create a V. And I'm going to do that over and over again until it cuts through. So I cut through a little more than halfway. I'm going to take my big moose antler here. But what I'm going to do now is cut another groove here. A V cut, a straight end. So I'm going to use the hand axe. I'm going to sawing motion straight in like that. And this is going to take a while, but you'll get the idea of what I'm doing here.
When paying with Cash App card feels pro, because you have roundups turned on.
Give me 17 cents on Bitcoin.
I'm going to use the handle of the antler to knock it out. There we go. You can see it's starting to cut right there, and you just got to go in there and go in there. You have to go to about here. That should be enough. I've been using this primitive hand axe as actually a saw. You can see the sawdust coming out of there. I just keep sawing a little at a time. And I think that's good enough now. Take a piece of flint that we collected from the river and nap a spear point out of it. Now, hopefully I'll get a good piece out of this. So both look okay. This one will be easier. So I'll try this one first. Now, for it to be a working spear point, it doesn't have to be much bigger than that. So when I'm doing this, I'm abrading the edges. I'm dulling the edges to make it so that when I hit on these spots that are lower, when I hit on them, it travels along this line and creates a big flake. Same thing, you would hit there and you would hit there. And you just keep doing that over and over again to thin it down. So here's a platform, and here is a platform. Those are places you want to hit. It'll follow this line. The flake will thin it down along these lines. You can see right here, this shallow area is where one of the flakes came off. Same thing with here. And just keep doing that over and over again until it gets down to the shape and size you want. So the platform there, and the platform there. The lowest points on the rock. I've ground all the edges so that I can see what I'm doing here. And where I should hit is the low platforms. So there, and there, and there. And when you flip it over, here's a low spot, here's a low, kind of low spot, here's a low spot, low spot. So I'm going to use the indirect method, which is the issue stick under the leg, hit with antler. And that allows more power to be driven into the flakes to push them off, rather than trying to sit there with your wrist or with your shoulder and pushing the flake off with brute strength. You're instead just like that. Pushing the point into the copper tip. And as I press in, I hit with this to get the flake off. And you do that all the way down the piece to thin it. So I hit right there. So this one cleaned up a lot. It went almost across the whole thing. And look how much width that took off. So when you pulled it off, it's way thinner. So now for the final shaping and sharpening, usually I use caribou antler stuck in a stick with some pine sap, pine pitch glue, but this has been ground down to a nub, so on the other side I have a little stick of copper. And I'm just going to use that to finish it up. And same thing, I'm just going to zigzag across the piece and push little tiny flakes off. You don't want to take too much off here. So this is what I do for final resharpening. It's just pushing those little flakes off. And this is a pretty good flute point. So this is an accurate replica of a Paleo-Indian spear point. Would have been used about 13,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago. And these were used to hunt large game like a caribou. They would put it on a atlatl dart and throw it with a spear thrower. The spear thrower was called an atlatl. And these darts would travel very, very forcefully into the animal. And then they had their food and clothes. So you could do all of this with just antler. You don't need the copper. You could do it with antler. It just takes a little bit more pressure to get those flakes off. We finished the spear point in relatively short time. So now we're going to go put it on a stick. In one of my previous videos, I showed how to make these Paleolithic, Paleo-Indian end scrapers that were mostly used for hide working, but they were used for woodworking as well. And I've been using that to scrape off the bark and to thin this down. I've just been holding it between my two fingers like this and just peeling up over and over again, thinning it and taking all that bark off. I also shaped the edges a little better by just continually scraping along the edge there. So I've been using my Flintknapping braiding stone. It's just a coarse stone. Any coarse stone can do this. And I've just been grinding and sanding the edge up here to make a smooth transition. It's just like sandpaper, works exactly the same. Sandstone will do this. Anything that's coarse grained stone will do this. And I'm just doing it on both sides and smoothing it all out. And switching back and forth between the sandstone and the scraper. So I also chopped the bottom off. I chopped some of these nubs off with the chopper, just kept whacking at it until they came off. What I'm going to do now is fire harden this and try to straighten it a little bit. But when you fire harden it, it makes it so that if you're thrusting into something, it doesn't break. It makes it a lot stronger. So you're going to want to do that to your survival walking stick. So what you're going to want to do is not burn the stick, but rotate it through the fire and keep it moving as much as you can. You don't want to burn the stick, you just want to let the flames touch it. You're heating the wood. So you'll know it's done when it's hot to the touch. You can touch it, but if you keep on too long, it'll burn you. And it should be like that all the way to the tip. Just slightly blackened. Come off on your fingers.
As a job site leader, You run on one simple idea.
So what we're going to do is we need some kind of glue to connect the spear point to the spear. And we're going to make a primitive glue today. You need charcoal and some pine sap. So what you do is you just find a rock with a flat surface and you start busting out the charcoal. You want it to be as fine powder as you could get it. So now what you do is you melt the pine sap onto the charcoal. Okay. All right. You don't want to burn it too much. Just want it to melt. And start mixing it into the charcoal. I'm just going to keep doing that over and over again until it's very liquidy. So now that we've melted the glue, we're going to haft everything together. We're going to put this into the knock here. And you could really glob this stuff on. When it that's hot. When it cools down, it'll dry really hard, really secure. And you could put a little bit on the outside to just secure the base more. And this will also waterproof this area. Then you take your point and you're going to haft it in. Be careful here because you can cut yourself doing this. So you're going to want to fit this in as perfectly as it could go. And then you just check to see where the glue is. And before it dries, it's starting to dry, you add more right there to connect the point. And then a little bit right there as well. So we'll set this aside to dry, and we'll figure out what we're going to use as a cordage for that. So before this dries too much, you're going to want some kind of cordage. Ancient peoples used sinew. They would chew the deer tendon in their mouth and wrap it around. I don't have any of that with me. I'm just on a camping trip, but I do have paracord. So we cut the paracord at both sides, and you're going to pull these strings out like that. And then you'll take one of the strands, you lay it in the glue, and you wrap around. Like this. And I'm actually going to do 2 sets of strand. Pine pitch is super sticky. And wrap it around the stick too, so it has to go around the point and around the stick. Like that. So what I like to do is take some of the pitch and just put it over top of the cordage. You don't need a lot, just enough to strengthen the cordage as well. And kind of rub it in like that. And you're going to do that on both sides. And this is really starting to dry out. So you want all of the cordage to be covered black. So as it's drying, if you do this quickly, you can press it in and smooth it out and make it look a little bit better. Then you're just going to let it sit. So the spear is finished. It's all dried. Look at that nasty thing. That thing will make a huge wound. Look at that. So, with the spear, we used just a fallen branch at the campsite, some primitive pine pitch glue, a fluted point made from, I believe it is Isopus. Now we didn't have sinew, so we used cordage, but we wrapped that with the pine pitch glue as well, and that'll dry really, really solid. This rope will not break. And now we have a defensive weapon against predators, against large animals if need be, and you have a very long reach with this thing. You have extended reach. So with your extended reach, you can very easily fight off something. And the spear is one of the oldest weapons in the world. This is the original weapon, made from flint, that I collected out of a creek. And to see that, you could check back in the old video where I found this flint and how I found this flint. So I feel really well protected tonight while I'm camping. And you guys should try this. I mean, it's never a bad thing to have added protection when you're out in the wild. You just want to make sure you put cover on this if you're walking with it. Put a cover on this if you're walking with it. You want something solid and hard to cover it. So thanks so much for hanging out and watching this, guys. I had a good time. Hope you did. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And when you do that, hit the bell icon. You'll be able to see more primitive build videos like this primitive stone-tipped spear that I made very quickly. And you could make it too. Check out my playlist. I have many other primitive builds in the past and more incoming. So you'll be able to see primitive tools, primitive traps, many things. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys soon. So big shout out to Josh. Thanks for making this video possible, man. You signed up as a patron on Patreon. You help make stuff like this happen. You get to see more videos, you get to learn how to do these things. Check it out. I'll put the link in the description for everybody else. But seriously, thank you, Josh. I really appreciate your elite membership. And I'll be sure to show you how to do these things. Thank you. It's the faces I normally make off camera. Mountain food fueled. We're going to be fishing, catch and cook trout. We're looking for stone to replicate stuff found at Paleo-Indian Ice Age Native American archaeological sites. Come along, guys. Check this out. We're also going to be making our own arrowheads for hunting out of stone. Do some fishing today. Got my cheapo Ozark Trail rod, my cheapo spinner. Let's see if we can catch anything on $10 setup here. Literally $10. I can use the stone knife. And just gotta rinse it off now. Stone knife, clean fish. Now that we have our meal, we're going to go look for these Paleo-Indian Ice Age archaeological sites, and then try to find our own stone for stone tools. I'm actually walking in the fog here to check out a paleo site. At the end of this middle school track. The sun's going down. There's danger, moose signs everywhere. I got this book by Robert Goodby, and this is actually about the Tennant Swamp site that's in this episode. And I'm going to go through a little bit of this and show you what's in here. Now, this is the edge of a swamp. This is called the Tennant Swamp site, I believe. And I've read a little bit about this. This here is a fluted point from New Hampshire, Ossipee Lake. And that looks to be made out of New Hampshire rhyolite to me. You can see that's pretty weathered. Tip is missing. And I just saw that they have like a historical sign I was reading about. So I'm going to take a quick peek before the sun goes all the way down. So I believe the sun's right here at the start of the swamp. Paleo-Indian site right here. We'll see in a minute though. I'm going to throw up a screenshot of the sign here. Get back to you. At the end of this video, we'll be making our own Ice Age spear thrower and testing it with a flint spear point, similar to the one I showed before. So all of these numbers are artifacts found, and they found it in a circle like that. And they suspect that it was a tent. You could see they drew in people sleeping on the outer portion there with the artifacts and tools all in the middle where the fire pit was. Stuff made of chert, rhyolite, quartz, unknown, and bone. this real quick. You could imagine where this tent was with these people living in it right where I'm standing. It's kind of creepy back here right now, actually. $13,000 years ago. Okay. Pause it to read. I'm not going in there. Tenant Swamp. Paleo-Indian site. Right there. Pretty cool.
So that's gray quartzite?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That looks sharp as hell.
Oh,
Razor blade.
look.
Look, brittle.
Very brittle. So is the stuff, though. Big one. Just milky.
Straight milky quartz. Ooh, watch that hammerstone. Or whatever it's called.
Antler.
Antler. Billet. Bopper. Flintnap my phone.
Danger noodle. That part is the part that is dangerous. This part is the part that warns you of the danger. Don't mess with it. Quiet and passive until messed with. This is what I love. There are rocks down there.
It is chilly.
Cold.
It is chilly.
Cold wind coming through here. Grand Canyon.
Continue on Pennsylvania 660 West for 1 mile.
Canyon country. Do the same thing again. So, that town just popped up out of nowhere. I'm going to put the screenshot of my map here so you can see what happened. And surprised me, they had a full grocery store there, so we got a bunch of dried meats and stuff, and a bag of coffee. So we should be good for a while, and we are heading off into the wilderness now.
In a 1/4 mile, turn left onto Airport Road.
A lot of that portion of Pennsylvania was cities, surprisingly. So I'm glad to be out into the woods now. Okay, check back soon. Woohoo!
We just pulled off to stretch our legs. And there's this really beautiful creek down here. Gray day, but it's very cool. Those storms last night really cooled everything off. As I was walking around stretching my legs, though, this caught my eye, which many of you may recognize. See those little hairs sticking off? This is stinging nettle. Now, this is something that is really common in a lot of areas and a lot of people have no problem finding, but I've really never had too much luck finding it, so it's very exciting for me to see. That is definitely the best piece yet.
This is what I was looking for. Freaking excellent. Alright. I'm gonna nap a point. I got a pile of stuff here. I got these 2 awesome flakes. Look at that.
Whoa. Holy shit. Wow.
Thunderstorm. Warning. Use caution. Woo!
Just ordered takeout from there. Burgers.
to these rails. Cool, man. The river's right down there. You can see it there. Way down. It's an awesome mountain here. I still have vertigo. I have it pretty bad. I've had it since the thyroid issue. I get quite off balance. I feel like I'm falling. This whole thing's shaking. Wow. Yeah. Go back. Huh. Okay. I did follow some creeks looking for rock, and I did find some. It looks pretty good. And I'm actually gonna probably nab that in the morning when I wake up. And I'll see if I could get a good video out of it. I don't know how damaged it is. I don't know if it's good or bad. It looks good to me on the outside, but I haven't really cracked into it yet, so I don't know. So we are at a horse camp, and we don't have a horse. We also don't have a tent. I must have dropped the tent out of the car somewhere. I don't have a tent. So, forced to sleep in the car. That's okay, because I got a big spot in the back for both of us. But I was really hoping to use the tent here. And it's cold tonight. It's like 40 degrees. And it's June. What? Alright, night one. In the car tonight. It's 1 in the morning, and we just got to the camp. We got these cool things for the window to keep the bugs out. It's really tight over the window, so no creepy crawlies coming in. Anyway, I'm exhausted. I just drove like, I don't even know, many hours. I gotta go to sleep. Good night. Okay, I am feeling a little bit annoyed. And I am annoyed at the fact that I keep seeing ancient sites being built on top of. And to me, that would be like equivalent to, okay, let's tear down the Great Pyramids of Egypt and build a Walmart on top of it. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks like that, but like, it's really irking me because I'm seeing a lot of ancient sites that I'm passing, you know, documented ancient sites, and it's like, oh, new hotel on top of it, oh, new Walmart on top of it. What the heck, man? What are you doing? Who does that? Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. That sucks. What the hell am I even saying here? This is all rocks. Pretty far in. I don't have much room to throw here. Yeah, you can see how it... I mean, this is top stuff. No damage. About 5 foot dart, turkey feathers. Pretty good. Pretty good. Worcestershire quartzite. Like that.
Looks right to me.
And this,
That's quartzite.
this is all quartzite. That is incredibly smooth.
Cool. Ooh, quartz. That's a big rock.
Like in the rain with this clovis that I made out of PA basanite. Tough material to work. Got a flake of rhyolite. I'm just gonna cut like that. Put that back in my pocket. Now I have a nice dart here, about 3.5 feet long. I'm gonna take the point and put it in. Now I have pine pitch glue. I will link a video that I did a while ago on how to make this stuff. I'm going to put that in the knock and I'm going to light it. You light it so that it melts, and that activates the glue properties. I'll just keep some heat on that. Now this is just going to be a little testing of this clovis point that I made. So I'm going to put it into the haft like that. And the glue is kind of coming out the sides a little bit, which is good, because you want it to hold the piece in place, like that. I will take a little bit more of the pine pitch and just try to make a little bit of a smooth transition from the point to the dart itself by just lighting some and letting it drip down and melt into place there. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. That's just a little bit of pitch. I'm just kind of sitting it on top there. Now watch if you can see what happens when I light it. See that lump? See it melting down? And just letting it seep down a little bit. And then it cools. That went right into the flute, channel flake. So I'm going to take the imitation sinew now and just wrap around up onto the point. And I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to go like this. Instead of doing the crisscross, I'm going to try to wrap it right onto the stick and then do the crisscross. Like that. And then what I'll do at the end of wrapping it is go around once, put it through the loop, pull it tight, put it where I want it, pull, and then take that little felsite flake, rhyolite I should say, and just cut right here. Okay. Now that is all hafted. Really beautiful point. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test it against a full water bottle just to see what kind of damage it does. there's the entrance wound. That's the exit wound. Aha. There it is. So it went in here and came out at an angle at the bottom. So there's the entrance wound, and there's the exit wound. Here's the point. No damage. Sharp as heck. Still hafted. I'd say that does the job. Okay. This is on the atlatl. That is a very big exit wound. I knocked that piece off there. This is the stuff. This is Cheshire quartzite, and every single thing here appears to be this stuff, the same stuff. Small pieces, big pieces, boulders. That's the skull that I just took off. So I got myself a few samples here, and one of these is going to go into a comparative collection for a friend of mine. There's stuff everywhere, like there's stuff right down there, that orange rock. There's big boulders of it. This is it. Yeah. This is it. So I only need a few samples, and I'm probably going to nap a knife out of this piece. Let's see how it goes. And it's getting dark, and I'm just going to head out. This is the last spot.
It was the last spot before. And I hit the jackpot for quartzite.
Alright, let's go. Alright, so what I did there was I looked at a geological map, found where quartzite is, and I followed that to a creek. And then once I'm down in the creek in a fishing area, here at least, you're allowed to rock hound. So, I got my rock for Bushcraft survival and Flintknapping. I got some for a comparative collection for an archaeologist. And all is good.
Oops.
Okay, so I got about a 6-hour drive now, because I'm going to make one more stop. I don't know if I'm going to film it or not, though. You guys have a good one. I hope you like that. And try quartzite. Try it. I'll be uploading videos soon of me napping and stuff. Have a good one, guys. We gotta just find a freaking moose somewhere.
Where's the moose?
Where are the moose? I have not seen one yet. I really want to see a moose. I have to go home though. I am beat. That was days of looking for this stuff. I am wiped out. Okay. To the road. See you guys.